Okay, I think we're good to go. I'm a bit concerned about the empty bookshelves, man. Come on, what's that about? You're supposed to be a writer.
I write books, Mel. I don't read books. I'm one of those. I mean, I've written one so far, but this is what happens when you.
That's the one book that you've got on that bookshelf.
I do. Many copies of the same book. Yeah. See, nobody wants them these days. But this is what happens when you rent a lawyer's house. You can only find those many number of books to fill it up, and then you eventually realize, yeah. So I'm going to get some paintings and stuff, and stuff every.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, sorry, was that annoying? You were just, no ball.
Overstepping. Oh, God.
You're overstepping.
That was annoying. Yeah, that was annoying. Yeah, why do they need that? Why,
whoop, whoop. We didn't need to get on with the show.
Oh, fine, or whatever. I mean, it's very similar to the shelves, right? I mean, no, there's Are you going to do this a lot today? Should I be prepared?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the good, the bad, and the ridiculous for day 2. I'm Melinda Farrell. Joining me is Bharat Sundersaran. And there have been some amazing nominations today. We're going to get stuck straight into them. Ganesh nominates ridiculous Root casually hitting a 6 to bring up his double without realizing that's what he'd done.
I know. In India, we always talk about how Virender Sehwag used to get to his milestones. Famously got to a 100, didn't he, with a 6, or I'm pretty sure he did against Saqlain Mushtaq in Multan 2004. But even that looked slightly like Virender Sehwag had to put some effort in compared to Joe Root. He just stepped out. Everybody was a little taken aback. The commentators, the Indian team, Joe Root himself, it came from nowhere, but such a beautiful shot to bring up such a beautiful double 100. What a player Joe Root has turned out to be, Mel, in the last 2 months.
Yeah, I didn't have comparisons to SEHWAG on my Joe Root bingo card for this test series, that's for sure. That was absolutely incredible. He's gone through. Do you know the thing that gets me about Joe Root too is it's all this thing about the Fab Four, and it was like he was in the Fab Four and then he was kind of out of the Fab Four, and now people say, oh, maybe he should be back in the Fab Four. Who cares? I don't care about the Fab Four. I really don't. I mean, they're all great players, but Joe Root's just having an incredible purple patch, and even Bharat Sundersaran has been made to acknowledge that he's underrated him. So that was absolutely magnificent today. Couldn't have done more. And Joe Root, SEHWAG, the new SEHWAG.
I know. But about that Fab Four thing, I don't think Kane Williamson or Steve Smith has scored a double 100 in India. So there you go. He's not in the Fab Four, so at least in the Fab 2. Only Kohli has done that.
Oh, Fab 2.
Fab 2.
Pranav Sharma nominates for ridiculous Joe Root and Ben Stokes digging out those excellent Yorkers from BUMRAH. I mean, when Joe Root did that later on, that was amazing. But that one from Ben Stokes just epitomizes why he is such a ridiculously everything player. He is so special. I love watching him. That ball would have got most batsmen out on most days in Test cricket. And how the hell he got, it's just the skill and the reactions, everything about him. And that innings today, what's amazing about it is, yes, Joe Root scored a double century. Yes, Joe Root was magnificent, the backbone of that innings. But when Ben Stokes is at the crease, it just lifts the anticipation, the expectation, and the excitement so much, because you know what he can do. He might also be able to give Rory Burns some lessons in reverse sweeping, because he was doing that. Just listening to his comments at the end, I do love the fact that he went to Joe Root and said to him, because he obviously wasn't feeling that comfortable against Nadeem with that patch that was there outside his off stump, and he just sort of said to him, look, I'd rather get out, at deep square leg than at short leg trying to defend. I love the fact that Joe Root gave him the freedom to just do that, because it was glorious to watch while it lasted.
But just about that Yorker itself, Mel, it also looked so incredible because you could see all three stumps. You could see it was a battle between. Today we saw the actual battle between bat and ball because there was nothing, no body, nothing that could have come in the way. And the reason we love Ben Stokes so much is, he's averages 37 in Test cricket. He'll never be in this Fab 4, Fab 5, Fab 6, maybe not even the Fab 10 conversation in Test cricket, but everything about him is eye and instinct. And I think that's something about sports persons who rely purely on their instinct, which just makes them a lot more charming than these really special players, right? These guys who clock up all these numbers and records and stats. Because we saw him at Leeds 2 years ago, what he did there. It was all pure instinct. It was eye. I mean, he decides to play a shot, he plays a shot. There's no, it doesn't need to have some great reasoning or rationale behind it. Like you said, him talking about not wanting to get out at short leg, and it was okay getting out at deep mid wicket, and that's what makes him so special. And that the way he dug that Yorker out was just the great eye that he has. And the six he hit of Ashwin of the 10th or 12th ball, I thought for me was as good as him digging the Yorker out, if not better.
Yeah, it's something when a player digging out a Yorker becomes equal shot of the day. Says it all about
equal shot yard?
Equal shot yard, exactly. I didn't say that when he did that. I was just like, how did you do that? Varun Dio nominates good. The umpiring, considering it's home umps. Well, even if they weren't home umps, I think you'd have to say it was a pretty good day, except for perhaps that little Miss Nick. But I think this nomination was sent in beforehand. But yeah, you'd have to say, these guys better than I do. Well, much better than I do, Bharat. But they've had actually a really good series, really good test so far and series.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and Indians have bemoaned the fact that there aren't enough umpires or from India in the elite panel. We've not had too many. S. Ravi is the only one I can think of in the last few years after S. Venkatraghavan went away. There have been a couple of seniors, yes, but Anil Chaudhary, Nitin Menon, and Virender Sharma. Shamsuddin has been around for a long, long time now. The third umpire who's been, I think he's been beautiful with his DRS as well. So crystal, like so clear, like, no rock and rolls. He's like, especially that one, the review that India lost where.
Which one?
Oh, yeah, which one? Good
Take
question.
Your pick.
I know, but I think this was the most ridiculous of the lot, which when Ben Stokes attempted the reverse sweep and Ashwin felt it hit his arm, and the moment he didn't even look for Shamsuddin, the umpire, didn't even go to ultra edge. He just said very, very clear that it has hit the glove, and then he just said, "Oh, back to the on-field decision. Give him out." He says, "I love the way Shamsuddin has been calling the no balls as well." But yeah, these two are. There you go. But can we not do that, please? We've heard enough of it. 19 times we heard it, or 20 times.
Oh, you're telling me.
But I think Anil Chaudhary has made a really good debut. Nitin Menon has been the fastest improving umpire on the Indian circuit for the last few years. He's already done a few test matches, neutral matches, but yeah, you couldn't really to pull them up for anything. Yes, that edge late in the day, everybody was tiring at that point. I think everybody's now a little sick and tired of watching England bat. So maybe that's what it was. But maybe Anil Chaudhary enjoyed England batting. He didn't give him out. It looked pretty out.
Maybe. On that note, or related note, Jamie nominates as bad Kohli's emotional reviewing. I don't know if it was emotional, but I mean, it just said everything, really, didn't they? I mean, you talked before about Headingley and remembering how Australia burned their reviews and just how costly that ended up being for them. They just burned them. They burned through them. And so when there was something that could be, I guess, it's supposedly there for the howler. I don't know if it was a howler, but it was, certainly one that you would have wanted to have a review up your sleeve for. But yeah, that was, it was almost Tim Payne-esque, wasn't it?
It was, and our loyal viewers will remember, we came up with the desperation review system, remember? And that's what we saw today. This wasn't the decision review system at all. Because Ashwin thought it hit his arm, the Ben Stokes one. So he goes up to Kohli. Kohli just goes, okay, fine. The Shahbaz Nadeem one looked close, though. The Joe Root one, I didn't expect the ball to bounce that far up on a Chennai pitch. Really, we haven't seen too many bouncers either. But yeah, India were in that kind of position, and India is not the only team who would have gone for some of those reviews. And it always looks worse when there is one that goes against you late in the day. And then Rishabh Pant was the one, if you remember, who informed them, "Abhi to review sab chala gaya, sab DRS chala gaya," which translates to all the DRS is gone. So it was funny that, but he had a very good game with his DRS game. Did Rishabh Pant?
He did,
because generally he's the one who is excitable behind the stumps. But there were many occasions when Ishant Sharma and BUMRAH were reverse swinging the ball and hitting Joe Root on the pads, where Rishabh Pant was the one asking Kohli not to go for the DRS. So, well, there you go. Another tip for Rishabh Pant.
Well, there you go. So on the bingo card that I didn't have Joe Root as the new SEHWAG or Rishabh Pant being the voice of reason. Hey, so maybe it was emotional by Virat Kohli. I'm giving you that one. I'm giving you that one. The emotion of desperation. Danny Franklin nominates for ridiculous. England fans looking at a first innings score of over 500 and comparing it to Adelaide in 2006, rather than any of the literally 50 times England won from that position. That did make me laugh, Danny. That did make me laugh, because I did see that a lot on Twitter today. This is the difference, you see, between both England fans and India fans compared to Australia cricket fans, who are like so much more like, oh yeah, mate, we can do this, yeah. And with England fans like, we're 507,005 million, but we could really lose it here. And it's the same with a lot of India fans, like, oh, this game's gone already. It's just really interesting. Not all India fans, though, I would say are like that. It's sort of split between the, yes, we can do this, and, oh my gosh, what are we doing? But England fans are renowned for their glass half emptiness.
I think the only difference between the Indian and English fans when it comes to that is a lot of Indians believe in this whole reverse jinxing thing. So whatever they want not to happen, they'll keep saying, yeah. Now, no chance. India is not going to win. My father was the same guy. Like, even when India needed 2 runs to win and 8 wickets in hand, they were like, you never know with this Indian team. But with England, yeah, I will never forget. They are... I've used this one line about English cricket so many times from a Pink Floyd song, Mel, which is hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. And that just sums up English cricket fandom. And I remember doing commentary with Daniel Norcross during the 2019 World Cup. And the World Cup semi-final, when England dominated Australia, and they were so far ahead in the game from the beginning. But till the end, Norcross just not stop worrying about, and not just him, John Norman, everybody else in that box, every Englishman were like, nah, but yeah, you never know with England. And I was like, dude, but how can they lose this game from here? But no, let's just wait and watch.
And England... an England team could basically need 2 runs with an entire session and 10 wickets in hand, and they'll still think that we could lose it from here. We could lose it from here.
Cynicism.
There's some really good ones today. Gaurav Nandan Tripathi nominates ridiculously entertaining. Whenever the match went a bit drab, it was Pant giving it energy through his catcalls, random unwanted bowling advice, and a constant commentary on the game. Would pay to watch him and Dick Weller speak from behind the stumps. That would be an incredibly... Imagine a game where you had those two. I think I said this before, and somehow Marnus Labuschagne involved in there as well. Imagine those 3 all round a stump mic outdoing each other. I'd also like to see Dick Weller and Rishabh Pant high-fiving. As you know, I'm a big fan of the Dick Weller high-five.
Oh, yes.
But you know, he has been the one out there when things have fallen really flat, and that you can hear everything so much more clearly without the fans there, or unless you count the fake fans. And that's what his constant encouragement and come on and everything else just comes through so much more, I think. And you can hear how much he's been trying to lift the team the whole time.
Oh yeah, and the fake fans, just a little word on them. They added to the whole Joe Root double hundred, the nonchalance, because they reacted very late to the double hundred. If you notice, like we're not pulling up anyone here, but the fake fans were a little slow today. Yeah, we call them tube lights in India. Yeah, because it takes a while to switch on. But yeah, Rishabh.
I was just going to say they need to up their recruitment of fake fans, because I don't think there are really, they talk about fans being educated. I don't think the fake fans are really educated. Do you?
Yeah, no, like I said, or they need a Rishabh Pant sitting with them somewhere in the stands, because the Indian team really did need Rishabh Pant, and he was actually quite funny. If you understand Hindi, there were some things which were very, like, he was just like encouraging the bowler or asking the fielder to do something. But just the way he was reacting to Rohit Sharma and the 2 overs he bowled, and in between I was half expecting him to start speaking Tamil, because he said something to Washington Sundar when someone drove the ball straight back at him when Washington Sundar was bowling, and he said, "You should have stopped it, ma," which is the most Tamil thing you can say without actually speaking in Tamil. The ma is used very endearingly in Tamil. Like you say that to someone who's like, maybe younger than you, or a kid brother, or just a child. So it was very, I thought it was very cute the way Rishabh Pant was with Washington Sundar in particular, because he was struggling for large periods of his spell. But yeah, there's something about Rishabh Pant, you just can't take your ears off him, because you never know what he's going to say. Yesterday, someone tweeted to us, I don't know whether you saw, he was singing a song about Washington, why don't you go to DC or something like that. So he keeps coming up with a lot, and you can see that it actually helps with his keeping. The louder he is, the fewer mistakes he makes. So maybe there is something in there.
Forget stump mic, maybe we just need punt mic. Now, we've had a lot of really good ones for ridiculous things that happened today. We can't fit them all in, but there were some ridiculous things today. Dr. Ruxith nominates as ridiculous. R. Ashwin bowled his first no ball in his test career after more than 20,000 deliveries. Wow, insane. Although what we have to say now, after seeing, not just in this test, but Mazhar Arshad, the wonderful Pakistani journalist and statistician, put up a thing about how many no balls are being bowled at the moment in these tests that are on right now. There are a lot that are being called out. So maybe he has, and we just have never seen it.
Well, Ashwin will tell you he hasn't, because none have been called. And it was funny, right? He goes over 20,000 balls without bowling a no ball. And then on one day he bowls 2, because there was one, I think in his last over of the day, where he bowled a no ball. So it's actually incredible to think that someone could bowl so many balls without bowling a no ball. And it was a strange day, like Shahbaz Nadeem bowling so many no balls. We spoke about it yesterday as well. But is this actually a crime or a sin to bowl a no ball as a spinner? Because a lot of spinners seem to do so. Someday we should get a spinner on our show, Mel, and get them to talk about it. Why is it a sin? Why is it a crime? I don't know. Like, they seem to do it. So just because they bowl off 2 steps, they can't have extend their front foot. I don't know. I think it's a little unfair on these spinners, but also tells you how careful Ashwin is with crossing the line, any line.
Yeah, one thing I do wonder is if the fact that we've now got whoop, whoop, whoop all the time, if that's going to make a difference to the way that teams bowl in the nets, because they bowl no balls all the time, as we can tell you after watching do it.
Yeah, and please do not encourage any team to introduce the buzzer, that whoop, whoop, whoop thing in the nets. Like, yeah, we'll have to go there with earmuffs then.
Oh, please no. Sorry. At Vijay Madras nominates ridiculous Rohit's tactical drop of BESS to make sure he doesn't pad up late on day 2. Good tactics there, sneaky. To be fair, Rohit had done, his lion's share of the bowling. Yeah. So he was probably a bit tired. He'd rolled his arm over quite a bit to relieve the bowlers. So I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, and he bowled one ball like Harbhajan Singh. I think that took a lot of effort for him to do the whole Harbhajan or complete the Harbhajan action from start to finish. But it was a ridiculous drop purely because of how easy it looked, and he did it the Australian way, right? He almost like blinded himself, as Mark Butcher was saying on commentary. But for me, the more ridiculous part about it was then they started showing R. Sridhar, the fielding coach, on camera, because that's what happens, right? A catch gets dropped and the fielding coach is on camera. And Rohit Sharma was at slip A trying to explain or defend his case to Rishabh Pant, saying, no, it dipped. And then as soon as Sridhar was on camera, he turned around and he started like applauding R. Sridhar from the field as if to say, don't worry, I'm still supporting you. You will still keep your job even after I just put down a catch like that. But I'll tell you, Washington Sundar was really not seeing the funny side of it. He could have easily had a Joss Butler wicket if only Virat Kohli hadn't gone for the desperation review earlier. He should have had 2 wickets if Rohit Sharma had taken an easy catch. So both captain and vice captain letting him down. Oh, but ex-vice captain. I just forgot Rohit Sharma is no longer.
Careful.
Captain and someone who a lot of other people think should be captain.
Mike F nominates Archer batting in his fielding sleeve. No good was ever going to come of it. Yeah, come on. That's a dead giveaway, isn't it? If you can't even be bothered to take off your fielding. I mean, he hasn't even fielded yet and he's got his fielding sleeve on. I mean, it'd be one thing if they'd fielded and he just hadn't been bothered to, but he had to put it on. So definitely no good was ever going to come out of that. And I think that should go into the ridiculously bad category.
Yeah, it's something about Jofra Archer. I always picture him being a much better batsman than what we've seen of him so far in Test cricket. And I'm sure he is. He averages 30 plus in first class cricket. So it almost feels like a chore to him batting so far in Test cricket. So I'm sure there is that one innings that's going to turn it around, and definitely that'll be the day when he actually wants to be out there batting. Today, it did not look like he wanted to be out there. But it's funny, the commentators were saying he spent a lot of time in the nets batting before he walked out to bat in the middle. So, yeah, something got messed up somewhere. But yeah, Jofra Archer wasn't in a mood to bat today.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he'll take off his bowling sleeve and then smash 50. Sushil Dev nominates as ridiculous Pant searching for the ball in a complete opposite direction when Ashwin's full toss was flying in the air. That was quite good.
That was,
yes?
Yeah. I wonder whether
an interesting day.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I wonder whether it was, to be fair, it was an interesting day, but I wonder whether Rishabh Pant was just putting on an act. Yeah, because it was a weird ball as well. It was like a waist-high full toss almost, which Ollie Pope tried to turn it towards mid-wicket, gets the weird part of the bat, and then it went straight up. So even I I expected it to fall straight into the keeper's hands. So Rishabh Pant, I don't think was the only one, but but with Rishabh Pant, who knows? You can't put anything past him. Maybe he was singing a song while he was looking for the catch.
He's an enigma. Okay, Bharat, there's loads more, and I can't believe that no one nominated oop in there. But what was
You've done enough of it.
What was your goodest thing for the day?
I think it was just the way Ben Stokes played. The 6 of Ashwin. And I remember watching Ben Stokes in the nets during the IPL when he used to play for Pune. And some of his 6 hitting was so effortless. And he would just step out, and the next thing you would see the ball flying literally out of the stadium. So I had seen him do that. But I think in the circumstances, he just dug out that Yorker and it faced 10 or 11 balls. That 6 came from nowhere. Ashwin was bowling so well. Ashwin was shocked as well. He turned around and said, where did that come from? So for me, that was the best moment of the day.
And your baddest thing for the day?
Has to be that Rohit Sharma drop catch, honestly. Purely because you felt bad for Washington Sundar. Because everybody was laughing about it, right? Like, ha ha ha, Rohit Sharma. I mean, yeah, he did give him the mandatory, like the customary, like, it's okay, Rohit. Like, you're the senior player. It's fine, as they walked past each other. But
Really, he was like,
yeah, I know. Exactly. Because he'd already been robbed of one wicket earlier because of there being no review. There was a second wicket. And he bowled much better today. And because everybody made it a joke, it was like ha 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 ha. But not for Washington Sundar. Yeah. If not for us, it was the baddest moment for him, I'm sure.
Okay, poor Washi. And on that note, there were lots of ridiculous things today, but what was your most ridiculousest thing for the day?
Oof, so many today. Well, you know what? I think I saw. I'm surprised it wasn't nominated. Maybe it was. For me, it was R. Ashwin giving Ishant Sharma a back massage.
Oh, someone did nominate that. Yes, they did.
It was strange because I don't think Ashwin was massaging him exactly where Ishant was asking him to massage. And Isha was watching the game as well, and she felt that no, I think he wants his back scratched, and this is just a ruse to get his back scratched, because it was weird. He was touching him in various spots on his back, except where Ishant Sharma was pointing. But, like I tweeted, a spinner always has a fast bowler's back on these pitches. So it was symbolic.
That's a special woot woot for you. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And please do subscribe, because we'll be back here every night after play with the good, the bad, and the ridiculous. Share as much as you like. And nighty night, Bharat. Please go and buy some books.